Hey everybody, it's Mr. Rogers, and uh, we didn't do too hot, some of us on the reading quiz, and so I wanted to go over and make sure that we are feeling comfortable with it. And so, number one here, basic formula for carbohydrates. So when you look at the word carbohydrates, you'll see the word carbon and hydrate in the word. Hydrate, obviously another word for water. So carbohydrates are carbon water. The basic formula for carbohydrates is CH2O. Some of you guys had other things you got from the reading. That's completely fine, but it has to be some form of CH2O. So that's the simplified form. Obviously, glucose is C6H12O6. You can kind of see if you simplify that down like you do in math class, it would be CH2O. Number two, which of the following is not a monosaccharide? The answer is sucrose. Glucose, galactose, and fructose are all monosaccharides. Galactose is a part of lactose. It's a single part of lactose. Fructose is a sweet sugar that's found in a lot of naturally occurring like fruits and things like that, and then glucose. What kind of bond joins two monosaccharides? That is a glycidic bond. Glycidic bond. It is an oxygen. There's actually a picture down here I can even show you. This is the glycidic bond right here. It's an oxygen connecting two different sugars, or usually glucoses. All right. Next, what polysaccharides is used by animals, outer exoskeleton, or as for fungi, cell walls? The answer is chitin. Chitin here. Cellulose is in plant cell walls, and starch and glycogen are both energy storage, complex energy storage. Starch for plants, glycogen for animals. So the answer here is chitin. It's the animal and fungal version of cellulose. Next one, plant cell walls contain which of the following in abundance? The answer is cellulose. Hopefully this was kind of easy. Cellulose is the most abundant organic molecule on Earth, and cellulose makes up all cell walls. So, in plants at least, I should say. Next one, lactose is a disaccharide formed by the formation of a blank bond between glucose. So technically, you kind of already knew glycidic because of the question up there. Obviously, hydrogen bonds doesn't really make that much sense, so it should have came down to these two. Now, we're making lactose, so it doesn't really make sense to combine lactose with glucose to make lactose. So I'm hoping that it kind of makes sense. Also in the reading, they talked about galactose being part of lactose, and galactose and glucose come together to make lactose. Lactose is a disaccharide. So that's the correct answer, glycidic and galactose. Next one, what is the scientific name for starch? That is amylose. Amylose, A-M-Y-L-O-S-E. Some of you guys put amylum, which is okay, but it's obviously Googled. That wasn't in the reading. At least I don't think it was reading. But really, when we use scientific names for sugar, we always use the OSE ending. You'll see every sugar is always almost ending with OSE, unless they're the common names like glycogen and starch are the common names for different sugars, that like amylose for starch and glycogen. I can't remember what the scientific name is for glycogen. No one ever asked that question. I can't remember what it is at this point. Which of these describe some similarities and differences between glycogen and starch? Starch is less branched than glycogen and is found in plants. Awesome. Glycogen is only found in animals, and it is very branched. And it's very, I said in my class for the face-to-face kids that it's very chaotic. There's branches coming off in every direction. There's not really a rhyme or reason. It's just coming off branches. While starch is very, very, very just straightforward. If it does branch, it's super simple. There's nothing crazy about it, and it's organized. It's found in plants. Why is it possible for humans to digest food that contains cellulose? You guys can actually break down cellulose. It's impossible for humans to break down cellulose. So therefore, we just pass it along. That's why it's also called fiber. Because if you have high fiber, then you're basically pushing out anything in your body because your body can't break it down. So it allows you to stay regular. And then this last question here, there's two things combining here, two monomers. This is a glucose, this is a fructose. Um, Obviously, the that doesn't really matter so much. What matters is the combining of OH and H. That's dehydration synthesis. So we know it has to be dehydration. Uh, is going to be the name, I guess, here, dehydration reaction. Um, and we're producing water as a result. And we know it's not glycogen because glycogen has many different glucoses just connected together. It's huge. We saw pictures of it in the reading and also notes. We know it's not hydrolysis because it's not breaking something down and a synthesis producing glucose and water. Well, this is glucose and it does produce water. There's no water visible here though, it doesn't say it, but we know water is made because it's given off. So the best one is dehydration reaction producing sucrose and water. This is sucrose, it's a glucose and fructose connect together, and a water is made by connecting these two guys. So I hope that helps a little bit. I know we can do a little bit better. I'm not too worried about it. You can always retake reading quizzes. Uh, Take any quizzes. You just let me know when you want to retake it, and we'll make sure that happens. The big thing for me is that you guys are trying to learn. If we're not doing a good job of doing that, then we'll get rid of the idea of retaking quizzes, and I'll put more pressure on you. So that being said, I hope it went well. If you didn't, you can retake. Thank you, guys.